Welcome back to Tech Tudes Weekly. I got three words for you today. AI, AI, AI. Sorry, we'll give you three more. Copilot, Copilot, Copilot. Sorry, it's just everything's coming about it. We found an interesting article we want to talk about today. Brian's going to go over it, but the gist of it is artificial insufficiency. Are we pushing everything way too fast and our patience just completely going away? Brian, you found an interesting article about this. Why don't you go and take it away on that one, sir?
Sure, absolutely. So over at Windows Central, we found this article, and they're talking about the introduction of Microsoft Copilot Pro. What that is a new introduction for the masses, I would say, because Copilot's kind of been this self-contained thing where you got to dabble with it a little bit. And as you updated Windows 11, you could play with it through the web browser or most likely through Bing or whatever they're calling
Bing
Bing
Chat.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bing Chat. Nothing now to be renamed, most likely. Thing. But it was self-contained. It was contained, so that meant the resources on the back end didn't have to scale as much. Now we're hitting where for $20 a month, you're able to get access to more and more features of Copilot, and I think we're seeing the adoption rate really start to kind of take off, and people using it more than just I want to ask a question, get a couple of responses back, or I need a quick give me my bio based on my LinkedIn profile, that type of stuff. I think we're seeing more and more people wanting to use the AI generation for images, things like that. More cats with coffee, and
Can
we're
you
also
please
seeing
generate my cat in every month of the year festively? I see that. I see
yeah,
that as an awesome work piece.
yes, it's the best use of technology on the planet. We all know that. I mean, Instagram proved that out many years ago.
Yeah.
But in general, I think we're also seeing that there's more and more adoption of some of the services Copilot can actually bring with it. So AI generation for video, images, things like that. Absolutely. I mean that's been the cornerstone of some of this generative AI speak since it was a thing, right?
Yep.
So what we're seeing now is Microsoft is offering for $20 a month.
To
You can
anybody.
add to anybody. Yep. You can get access to GPT-4 and turbo mode, meaning that it should just work relatively quick. Knowing that turbo mode is prioritizing you in the channel. So when you ask a question, all the people who didn't pay for it on the free versions, then you're getting pushed to the background and you're getting a little bit more priority to get the response a little bit quicker, right? Remember, this is all still going out to the cloud. None of this is actual local to a device. So there is an inherent latency there, but you're getting bumped to the front of the queue. That's what
And they're
that's
still
paying for.
using GPU farms just like anybody else would. So,
Yep, they still have to have the back end resources. So
yep.
the next thing that we're seeing is you'll see the third one over here now, where it says create more than ever. That's your image creation, video creation, things like that. Again, that's been around now for a little while, as generative AI has been a major thing, but you're getting access to doing more of that instead of having to buy it credit by credit and whatnot. Now, the other big one here, Microsoft talked about this a lot at, what was it, Insight, I think is the name
Yeah.
of their, or Ignite, or one of that. I can't remember what they call it.
Yeah.
Like,
Burning Man,
so,
maybe.
exactly. Like, Copilot and Microsoft 365 apps. This is where now you're getting it in Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Outlook, things like you get sent a massive email chain and you don't have the time to read through that email chain, or you're getting brought into it the last second saying, hey, what are your thoughts? Instead of reading through it, you can go to Copilot inside of Outlook now and say, hey, summarize this for me in 10 bullet points. And it pulls those out, extracts them. I would highly recommend you still read the email chain at some point, because AI can be a little schizophrenic, but in
And they don't
general, it
understand
should
you're not
save you
talking
time.
about ducks either.
No, yeah, you're very careful what it ends up your response being, but you can generate some PowerPoint slides or at least a framework of a deck, things like that inside the Microsoft 365 apps, saving you time and making you more efficient. So AI as a tool, just another tool in the toolbox. However, you're paying $20 a month, and what we're starting to see is that from the previous article that we brought up here is that it's a great problem for Microsoft to have, meaning that it's selling. People want this. There is a market for it. However, I don't think they were ready to say, "Oh, people are that excited about it," and have a chance to scale up their back end performance.
Yeah, they
Dave, you
choked
have
seven. They choked 7 days from the day it launched is when the issues happened, and they tried to push it out to browser issues, all kind of different conversations. And ultimately, I think this article talks about it, and you can dig into it here in a bit, was it was a server side issue. They didn't have enough GPUs in the farm because people wanted kitty cat pictures. So ultimately, I don't know. This is going to get interesting to see how it's really used. The business side of it. That's the other thing. Copilot Pro. I'm wondering if it's using the back end infrastructure that the business side of the house uses. If it is, that's going to crush a lot of stuff.
It's very very interesting to see, this introduction in the marketplace. I give them props because I mean this is not an easy feat for what Microsoft did. I mean this is a really slick set of tools,
Yeah,
and at $20 a month, it's actually personally I think it's worth it if it's used correctly.
yeah,
And if you're not going to take some training time, go to Microsoft Learn, understand how it's used, and really understand what the tool does. That's still like, you trying to pound a nail through a board with a screwdriver. You can absolutely do it. But if you just pulled out the hammer, then that would work a lot better if you knew how
yep,
to swing a hammer, know how to use Copilot and what it can do for you. So maybe there'll be a tertiary type tier where, for $10 a month, you can generate some images of your cat and things like that. But it's still not the high priority stuff of what's going into, people trying to use Office 365 and whatnot. I don't know. Microsoft's going to have to solve this because I think this growth is going to be exponential.
yeah. I think it is too. And it's going to be who's going to rule the world on this one. I mean, Apple's coming in at a later date on this with some of their other stuff, but I don't know. To your point, also, please read whatever your email, whatever you're summarizing. You probably need to know what the subject was because it's not perfect. We did some AI generative stuff, and I'm like, huh, that's not even close.
Yeah, and understand the more specific you get with the AI until they go, because this is still a large language model, which means it
Yep.
kind of boils the ocean. And whereas once you get to something more specific, the small language model, I don't even know what they're going to call it, where it becomes domain specific, be very careful what you ask it because it can get dumber over time depending on how specific you're getting with the question, or if you didn't word the question quite correctly. There is an art to it. It's called prompt engineering. You can Google it, or you can Bing it now, or Copilot it, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, sure.
and look it up. There is an art to writing the correct question to get a more suitable response.
Just
So
like
again,
writing a SQL
go
query.
learn.
If you're not
Yep.
specific, you're screwed.
Yep. Exactly. So take a look at it. If you got $20 a month to give it a shot, absolutely. I would have some patience with it out of the gate. 6 months from now, Microsoft will be scaling this up to the nth degree, and I'm sure we'll see better and better efficiencies and response times over time, as well as better equipment that's going to be handling it even closer to the edge. But again, something we'll explore in probably a follow up video. But take a look at it. It's definitely worth the $20 a month. Just have some patience with it and double check your work.
Yeah, and if you do some really cool generative stuff, post it. Show us what you're doing on that. That's going to be cool. I want to see everybody's dog pics and cat pics and maybe duck pics. I don't know. It's going to be interesting when we start going through this. But let us know
Yep.
down in the comments. Show us what you're doing.
Absolutely. Ring the bell, join us in the comments, and I guess there'll be more to come on this one. This will be a topic that's going to be the gift that keeps giving.
Oh yeah.
Thanks all.